Welcome back to Curious for Christ. I'm Alexandra, and today's episode is for anyone who's ever felt abandoned, overlooked, or just plain alone, even while trying to stay faithful. Maybe you're doing the work, you're praying, you're showing up, you're seeking God, but the silence is deafening, and you start to wonder, is He even there? If that's you, be encouraged. This episode is for you. We're diving into 5 truths to remember when God feels absent, because even when there's no visible fruit, we can still worship God, and most importantly, you're not alone. Let's dive in. Welcome to Curious for Christ. Do you ever find yourself lying awake at night wondering about God's plan for your life? Maybe you wake up with big dreams but feel unsure where to start or what your next step should be. If you're curious about exploring your faith and finding purpose, then you've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Alexandra. I too felt lost, unsure of the direction my life was taking. I yearned to understand my purpose and have someone guide me. But I kept telling myself I was too busy, the timing wasn't right, and my lack of clarity prevented me from being consistent. Until I found Christ. He brought peace into my life and revealed the way to find purpose by anchoring myself in Him. In this podcast, we'll journey together, exploring the Bible to gain a deeper understanding of Him and cultivate your own personal relationship with Christ. So open up your Bible, put in those earbuds, and listen up, because God is speaking to you. He is making everything new, and you don't want to miss it. Let's get started. Truth number 1, you're in good company. Even Jesus felt forsaken. Matthew 27 verse 46 says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus himself cried out in pain and silence on the cross. If the Son of God could feel this, we know it doesn't mean we've failed. It means we're participating in His suffering. You are walking a road that Jesus walked too. Truth number 2, silence doesn't mean absence. Isaiah 45 verse 15 says, "Truly you are a God who hides Himself." Sometimes it feels like God is silent, and we wonder, where were you, God? Especially when we've walked through pain or childhood wounds or unanswered prayers, and we've prayed for so long. This can erode our faith if we let these thoughts unchecked. But the truth is, God saw you. He had compassion. He was never far. It was not His will for you to be harmed, but we have somehow, as humans, we have to see that without God we are lost. At the right time, when your heart is ready, He shows Himself, not as a distant God, but as a redemptive, loving Father, a healer, a restorer. And even now, in your walk with Him, there may be seasons of silence, not because He is angry or absent, but because He is growing something deeper in you. Like a loving parent who lets their child take their first step without holding on, God sometimes hides to develop your courage or your faith or your trust or whatever it is that He's working at the moment. It takes faith to believe again. I get it. It takes courage to trust again. But the Spirit of God is not one of fear. It is a spirit of power, of love, and a sound mind, as 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says. Faith will not disappoint you. Romans 5 verse 5. So day by day, even in the quiet, choose to walk with Him. He is near, even in the silence. Truth number 3, you are still being formed in the silence. 2 Corinthians 4 verses 8 through 9 says, "We are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. Perplexed, but not in despair. Struck down, but not destroyed." Paul understood the weight of ministry, of obedience, and walking with God in a broken world. He knew what it felt like to be overwhelmed, under pressure, and worn thin, but he clung to this truth. We're not destroyed. Even when we don't see progress, even in the silence, God is still working. He's refining, He's shaping and forming something deeper within us. We cannot fathom what God is doing. We can only trust, choose to trust. And you and I are still here, aren't we? We're not forgotten. We're not finished. God is not done. You are being formed for something eternal, as I said. You are more than a conqueror through Him who loves you. Romans 8 verse 37. Truth number 4. Faith often grows best in the dark. Habakkuk 3 verses 17 through 18 says, "Though the fig tree does not bud, yet I will rejoice in the Lord." Even when there is no fruit, no result, no payout, no visible progress, we worship. Why? Because our God is not transactional. He is relational. He is faithful even when life feels barren. So let us respond back to Him with faith. Truth number 5, God will not forget your labor of love. Hebrews 6 verse 10 says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown Him as you have helped His people. Just because there's no paycheck today, no closed deal, no applause, no husband, it doesn't mean God isn't seeing. He sees it all. You are storing up eternal treasure even when the bank account looks bleak or you are still single. So let's recap these 5 truths to remember when God feels absent. Number 1, you're in good company. Even Jesus felt forsaken. Even Jesus experienced silence, and He was deeply loved by the Father. If He felt that way and still trusted, then you're walking in His footsteps. This is the path of a Christ follower. Number 2, silence doesn't mean absence. God may be quiet, but He is never far. In the stillness, He's forming something deeper, courage, trust, or resilient faith, whatever it is. Something He is doing. Number 3, you're still being formed in the silence. Just because you don't see change doesn't mean He isn't working. You're still being held, still being shaped. Keep going. Number 4, faith often grows best in the dark. Just like a garden, when nothing is showing above the soil, it doesn't mean the seed isn't taking root. Don't pull the seed up too soon. Trust the process. God is faithful. Number 5, God will not forget your labor of love. What you do in secret is not unseen. God remembers your prayers, your service, your tears. You are storing up treasure in heaven. So take a moment today to reflect on these truths. Speak them out loud, write them in your journal, and ask yourself, where am I tempted to give up because I feel forgotten? What fruit am I demanding instead of trusting the root work God is doing? And can I choose worship even here? Let these truths remind you that God is not done. You are still becoming who He created you to be. And you're exactly where you need to be right now. You're not crazy for wanting fruit or stability or reward. You're not unfaithful for feeling tired. You're human. And the delays, they have a purpose. God is using them to teach you how to depend fully on Him, to let go of what you thought you had to hold on to see Him clearly, to be renewed, to receive a peace that transcends your circumstances. Even youth grow weary. Isaiah 40 verses 30 through 31 says, even youth grow tired and weary, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. God has plans for you greater than anything you could imagine. But when you grow weary, remember this, you are not invisible to God. You are seen, known, you are still called. So keep going. Choose faith over your doubts and keep going. Think about Elijah in 1 Kings 19. He was so done, he literally wanted to die. He said, I've had enough, Lord. He felt completely alone. But God didn't shame him, didn't lecture him. God came gently, not in the fire, not in the earthquake, but in a whisper. And in that quiet moment, God reminded Elijah, you're not alone, and neither are you. Thank you for listening to Curious for Christ. If this encouraged you, would you share it with someone who might need to hear they're not alone? We're in this together. Until next time, keep seeking, keep trusting, and stay curious for Christ. Bye, my friend. Hi, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you like to take 30 seconds and share it with a friend who may also struggle with knowing God and His purpose for their life? Also, leave a review on Apple Podcasts and let me know what topics you'd like to hear about in the future. Your voice matters. I'll meet you back next Friday for another episode.